We can tell immediately when an expression is inauthentic. We have those sensors. We can feel it. You always feel it. It feels off. It feels icky. It doesn't feel good. And I've had two very clear examples recently that have illustrated that to me, and that I feel like sharing, because honing that sensation is helping me really identify and understand when I am taking action that is authentic. In other words, in alignment with myself, but authentic expression of me, or when I'm acting out of fear, out of guilt, out of conditioning, which is always manipulative. It's always fear-driven, seeking control, and it's a form of manipulation across the board. It's not the following of desire, and so it's not aligned with myself. It's not aligned with what my soul is focused on and moving towards. And as a result, it does not feel good. And when I take those actions, I immediately regret them. This is my personal defining of regret versus guilt versus shame, seeing them as very different things. It's guilt, which is a form of fear, that motivates a manipulative, ego-based action. It's shame that results from taking that... Fuck, I already fucked it up. It's so hard to correct these words. It's regret that results from taking that action. Shame is... I'm lumping it in with guilt because it has to do with wrongness, with a feeling of wrongness. If you let yourself be shamed into something, you regret that because it was not authentically you. That's the way I'm thinking about this, presenting this. It's so tricky to redefine those words in my vocabulary, but I find it personally to be important because it can be a very fine line, and I want to genuinely identify my motivations for everything that I'm doing. Not to judge it, to follow myself, to follow the path, the trail that I have blazed for myself with desire, with good feeling. That good feeling that I'm following is me. It's me that's gone before me and said, hey, this is where we want to go. This is where we do go. If I diverge from that, then I don't feel so good because I've diverged from the truth of myself and actual reality, actual ultimate reality. I've actually gone against reality in that moment, which is a wild thought. But I digress. Of the examples of this, one for me this morning. So my ex is here. She is in town. That's a whole thing. She showed up out of the blue. And I'm experiencing a lot around that. And my expression to her historically has not been terribly authentic. That's changed a lot over the past year, but it is something that I still struggle with. To accurately represent myself, to speak my truth to her, because I didn't do that for 10 years. Instead, I opted for people pleasing, which is manipulation, trying to keep her happy and to change myself, which was never changing myself, but pretending that I had changed in order to please and appease her. So, she has not responded with positive emotion to the changes that I have undergone, to the fact that I do not wish to be in a relationship with her, really, of any kind, even platonically at this point in time. Especially that I have a new partner that I'm very happy with. And so she has been having her own emotional experience of disturbance and grief and other forms of upset. And in the past, I would have tried to change that. Immediately. I would have tried to change that, to do something to fix it, to make it better. And I'm working really hard not to do that now. To accept her emotions as they are and not try to change them. But it's been a challenge. This was a deeply ingrained pattern in our relating. And this is, of course, a wonderful opportunity to challenge that pattern. This morning, mostly I am not speaking to her very much, because I have very little to say, and because I'm aware that when I do, I so quickly fall into things like apologizing for myself and my actions when I don't actually feel bad for them, when I'm not actually sorry for what I did, and so I'm lying, and that doesn't feel good. I don't feel good about that to either of us, for either of us. I'm not authentically representing myself. So in large part, I am not speaking to her, but I did briefly this morning. I just said that I was going to leave. And we had a short moment of levity. There was just the opportunity for some laughter. That was really nice. And then I could see immediately the shift in her demeanor, where it was like, oh, I forgot that I was sad, and now I'm back to sad. And it was that shift to things feeling lighter, the energy lifting and then descending again, that triggered in me the sensation of, oh, I gotta fix. And it's not genuine, it's not authentic. It wasn't that I actually wanted it wasn't even that I actually wanted her to feel better as much as I didn't want to feel uncomfortable. And so a part of my feeling uncomfortable was interpreted as I had walked away rather quickly. We had a little laugh, and I said, all right, I'm going to go. And I sort of just turned around. And that was when I could feel everything shift. So there was that moment of, oh, I don't want to appear rude. I don't want to appear like I don't want to have an interaction with this person, when the truth is that I don't really. That's the truth. But I didn't want her to think that, even though it was true. So, just, this all happened in a matter of seconds. My mind made something up. What can I do to modify this behavior so that I feel more comfortable? I have some grapes in the fridge. I bought some grapes. I'll offer the grapes so that it appears, I don't know, like I'm friendly or generous or some bullshit. Some made up fucking bullshit. Because I did not buy those grapes for her. I bought them for me. I didn't think about her when I bought them. I intended to eat them. I didn't care whether she ate them or not. But she was not included. There was no moment of, I wonder if she'll like these grapes. That wasn't there. I bought them for me. I bought them for me. I had no intention of sharing them. I had no real desire. I had no desire. There was no desire there. It was entirely fear motivated. There was no desire. There was no good feeling in my turning around and saying, by the way, I got some grapes. You can have them if you want. That was not me. It came out of my mouth. And I immediately regretted it. I immediately felt like, oh, why did I do that? Why did I say that? That was... And she didn't say anything, and I'm glad she didn't say anything. I'm sure she could feel the inauthenticity of it, because it was right there. It was so bogus and meaningless, and I didn't care about her. I didn't actually care. But I was uncomfortable with her thinking that I didn't care in that moment. So I lied. I made up some shit. And it didn't feel good. And that's the kind of thing that I'm catching myself doing. Habit, patterns, not authentic, not genuine, certainly not the expression of desire or following good feeling. All out of fear. All out of fear. So here's a flip side of that. Because it doesn't feel good to express yourself inauthentically, and it doesn't feel good to be the recipient of an inauthentic expression. My birthday is imminent, and I was sitting in my room the other day and could hear her in the other room talking, making a voice recording, talking back and forth with her friend in Portugal. That's a whole other story. That's a whole other story that I've talked about before, but it's really, it doesn't matter. But she was saying something to this friend about it being my birthday, and that she was gonna get me something. And I could tell this was a response. She had said something about getting me a gift, and that the friend had replied questioning that, asking sort of why, because we're not together. And I've made that very clear, that I have tried to actually make clear that I don't care. That I don't care how she feels. Because I don't. And that's not expressed out of maliciousness. That's expressed out of you are responsible for your emotions and your experience. I am not. And it doesn't affect me. And if someone doesn't want you, why do you want that person? Why would you want me when I don't reciprocate that? Why would I want someone who didn't reciprocate? It's trying to demonstrate that. And also just live my life. Just be me. Just move on away from this situation, which was a karmic cycle, which played out and is now closed. It's done. We never really liked each other. We liked the idea of each other, which was not who we actually were, ultimately. That's not honoring her to lie about that, and it's definitely not honoring me. Suffice to say, I don't want a birthday present from her. I don't want a birthday present from anyone. I don't care about that. I don't expect that. A gift given genuinely because someone else wanted to give it, not because they wanted my reaction, because they saw something and thought of me and felt a desire to express that they had thought of me in giving me that gift. And so it's selfish. It's pleasing to them. That's the kind of gift that I will gladly receive. But I don't ask for anything from anybody. I don't need a demonstration of anyone's appreciation of me. I don't want it unless it's authentically, naturally inspired. Unless it's the following of a desire. And so hearing her say, yeah, but I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be rude. I'm going to get her a gift because I don't want to be rude. Not because I want to get her a gift. Because I don't want her to think of me as rude. Can you feel the inauthenticity of that? And I'm not trying to blame or diminish her, which is why I started with the example of myself and how easy it is to fall into this kind of pattern of relating. But to feel the other side of it. Do you want a gift from somebody who's just giving it to you because they don't want you not to like them? They don't want you to think a thought about them that they might appear rude in your eyes, and that's why they're giving it to you? Not because they want to, not because it feels good to them. And if it doesn't feel good to the person giving the gift, why would it feel good to the person receiving the gift? There's not any good feeling in there. I would so much rather not receive that gift. I really hope she doesn't do anything, because it's not going to feel good. And then there's the whole after of, oh, you're not grateful for the gift that I got you, the gift that you felt like you had to get me. No, I'm really not. Do I appreciate that you felt uncomfortable with my potentially negative opinion of you? I mean, there's a level of I can appreciate that that's your experience. I can appreciate that I can relate in a human way to having had that experience. But no, I'm not grateful for that. I'm not. I would be much more grateful for you owning that you didn't want to get me a gift and saying that to my face. I would be truly grateful for that. I would appreciate that honesty, that authenticity of saying, I don't have anything. You don't have to say anything. You can tell me I didn't want to get you a gift, so I didn't. That's fine. I appreciate that, but you can just not get anything. You don't even have to acknowledge that it's my birthday. You don't have to do anything. Do you. That's what I appreciate. Do you. Be you. It's just we're not serving ourselves, and we're not serving anybody with this inauthentic expression, which again I want to own my experience of. It's not like that's the first time I've flat out lied to try to get somebody to like me or change the way that they felt. No, that's been most of my life experience. Changing my behavior to appease or please somebody else so that I could feel safe, not so that they felt good, so that I felt less not good. Because I was running from the discomfort of potentially being disliked, instead of accepting that it doesn't matter. That it doesn't matter. That I don't need to be liked. My worthiness, my well-being, my security are not dependent on anyone's opinion of me. And so they're free to feel whatever they feel. It doesn't mean anything about either of us. They're not bad, I'm not bad. It is what it is. It's okay not to like me, or for me not to like you. It doesn't mean you're not loved and accepted and perfect as you are. We just don't match. And in fact, I can like and appreciate that we don't. I can like and appreciate that we don't get along. That our expressions are not necessarily pleasing to one another. I can appreciate that. I can be pleased with that. To know that what I do like is being defined. It's being added to in clarity. What a gift that is. And thank you for liking some other things and then moving on so that we can both attract and match with the energies that are a good fit for ourselves. Because this ain't it. This ain't it. And you gotta know really, really clearly what ain't it to know really clearly what is it. And then you get to enjoy the fuck out of what is it. You get to really appreciate how good it feels, having felt how awful it feels to experience the other. How awful the inauthentic, forced, manipulative expression is versus how wonderful the natural, organic, delicious, delightful expression of desire is. It's so good. It's so good for someone to just love loving you, that it love it so much because it's for them, because it feels good to them, and so it's not even really about you. They just love loving you, and you get to be the happy recipient of it, but it's not about you. It's all them. That feels so good. It's so pure. It's so clear and clean and easy and natural and authentic. And it feels good to both parties. I love loving you. I just want to pour my love all over you because it feels good to me. And it feels good to you to receive it. So you're grateful to receive it. And we're just loving all parts of it, basking in it, growing it, accelerating it, expanding it. It just gets bigger and better. That's how it's meant to work. And it's okay for the other to happen so that we feel it and we go, ugh, this ain't it. This isn't it. Try that, spit it out, move on. Authentic expression feels good. Even when it feels scary, it feels good. Inauthentic expression hurts. It feels sour and just like a letdown inside yourself. It's this sinking, it's that sound. That's the sound I get from my gut. Versus, It is really that. It's that kind of sensation. It's just a grunty sort of noise in the gut. So I'm learning to feel that and tune into that. And that's it. I just am so appreciative for authentic expression and how good it feels and how much I want to do that. And what a happier place the whole world would be if we all just followed that instinct to express authentically and not let ourselves play pretend, not let ourselves down by lying to each other about how we really feel just to save face, just to try to control somebody else's opinion of us, to accept that person's opinion can be what it is. Let it be an honest one. Let it just be an honest one, at least. Form whatever opinion you want, just let it be about the real me and not this pretend version that I've cooked up to try to woo you. That's exhausting. Oh my God. It's exhausting and it's upsetting. There's nothing pleasant about that. Let that fall the fuck away. Let us just be ourselves, and if we don't like somebody, or if somebody doesn't like us, then thank God we figured that out quickly and can just move on to the next thing. To the people who do like us and accept us, and the people who do like that other person and accept them. We didn't need each other. We got other genuine matches here. Let everything fall into place. We don't gotta force it. We don't gotta pretend. Just move on to the next thing, which is the better thing. Express authentically. You're not for everyone. You're not meant to be. Hell, you're not really meant for anybody but yourself. But the thing is, that cup of tea that's meant for you, some people love that cup of tea. For some people, that's their cup of tea too. And it's just you, it's just yours, and you're enjoying it for yourself is what they delight in. That's their tea, you see? And we're not meant to be everybody's flavor. And everybody is not meant to be our flavor. Little bits and pieces here and there, sure. But the more you taste, and swirl it around and spit it out and go, I don't know. Not so much that one. The closer you get to finding more and more of the things that are your exact match, that are made for you, meant for you. Naturally, because they were made for themselves. But their natural being is exactly what you're looking for. Is exactly all the things that light you up. There's all kinds of stuff like that. People, places, and things, jobs, experiences, piles of money. Especially significant others. That's a whole other thing. But if we just stop trying to force ourselves to fit together, we find the pieces that actually do. That just naturally, easily fit. And it feels so good to find that. They come to us. We just gotta let go of the ones that don't work. So the ones that do just float on in. They're waiting. They're waiting to come in. We're already calling them. They're just waiting for us to drop these unnecessary components, the things that aren't ours, that don't fit us, that aren't meant for us. Once we let those go, all the other stuff just comes in. It can't not. It can't not. It's waiting in the wings. It's been there this whole time. It's not going anywhere else. You're calling it to you. It's meant to connect. You're calling to each other. That connection is made. That gets made. That happens. The universe makes sure that happens. It's just a matter of dropping the other stuff out of the way. Anyway, that's all I got. Just for you. Why would you want to be anybody else?